Today, as never before, people need to hear the good news of God's saving grace and the powerful, life-changing messages of Bible prophecy given to the Adventist Church. The need for your support of the evangelism offering on March 29 has never been greater. Our pastors and churches are effectively reaching out and doing more than ever to reach people in need of God's grace and the loving, transforming truths of His Word. The evangelism offering provides the greatest percentage of funds for support of evangelism and outreach ministry in the conference. The offering goal of $275,000 is depended on to provide crucial funding for the most important dynamic of church life, witness and ministry in the territory we serve.
We are living in dramatic times with exciting opportunities. As you know, evangelism is a major priority in the I-Missouri Conference. We would like to encourage you to make it a major priority in your life and spiritual stewardship. Today is an opportunity to put your heart where God has placed His own when He sent Jesus 2,000 years ago to seek and save the lost. Evangelism is paying rich dividends as successful meetings are occurring across our field. People are responding to invitations to come and hear the last warning message that we have been called to share to our fallen world. We must act now while there is interest, and so many people are searching for hope and answers to life's challenges. People are seeing the alarming events transpiring in the world around them, and they are wondering what is going on and why are these things happening in such a dramatic fashion. We have the answers they are looking for. We must do as Christ says and go forward together. It will take all of us working and sacrificing together to make this a reality, and that is what we intend to do here in the Heartland. We're going forward in God's work across the conference, from our small churches in rural communities to the large metro areas we are called to reach. For evangelism to work most effectively, we must be all in, and it is working today in a powerful manner where our churches and our members are fully committed to Christ in this great work. Let me tell you that we are seeing the lives of our local members and church leaders change as they get involved in evangelism and personal ministry. I can tell you about the Charles City Church, which was such a small church for many years there in north central rural Iowa. The elders have been holding meetings for the last 3 years in a row. Even now, while they have no pastor, the elders have sent a budget requesting money so they can reach out into their community. That little church is growing. Its members are on fire. I could tell you about the Hannibal, Missouri church that has tripled in attendance in the last few years as well, as a result of public evangelism and personal effort. The Gladstone Church in North Kansas City is another prime example of God's blessings on our efforts. They had an evangelistic series with conference evangelist David Kleindentz in the fall of last year. Over 20 people were baptized as a result of the members working and praying together.
Last year, the Gladstone Church in Kansas City decided to sponsor a series of evangelistic meetings at their local community center, and they had a great response. It was so encouraging to see that large hall filled with 200 people who attended faithfully and were so eager about the things that they were hearing. In fact, I can remember hearing the awesome testimonies of people who were telling me that these meetings came for them at just the right time. Either they received a flyer in the mail or a friend had invited them to come. At the conclusion of those meetings, 23 people made decisions for Christ through baptisms or profession of faith. And even at the conclusion, 20 to 25 others were still attending the follow-up classes. Now, I don't want to forget about Tony in St. Louis, Missouri. Now, Tony is a former bodybuilder, and he attended a series of evangelistic meetings at the Mid-Rivers Church all the way back in 2011. Now, Tony came almost every single night. And at the end of the meetings, he wasn't quite ready to be baptized, but he started attending the church faithfully every single Sabbath. Well, I'm happy to tell you that just 2 months ago, I had the privilege of baptizing Tony at the Mid-Rivers Church, a full 2.5 years after he first came to the evangelistic series of meetings. You see, some examples, some results happen right away. Others come a little bit later down the road. But these two stories are powerful examples that evangelism still works. It's what we do, and it's what we must keep on doing. So I want to encourage you to give faithfully and generously to the conference evangelism offering today, because there are many people just like Tony who are searching for Jesus and searching for truth.
The Joplin, Missouri Church held a very successful series with Springfield Church pastor, evangelist Hiram Rutster. Listen to Hiram and Pastor Jeff tell us how God has been working as our members are reaching out to their community.
Last spring, I had the opportunity to hold a full message evangelistic series with Pastor Jeff Warda and the Joplin Seventh-day Adventist Church. We started the series in a public hall there in Joplin, and we used a relational approach to our meetings. We had round tables, and the lay people were sitting at those tables along with the visitors. The church members were there, the lay people leading out in a brief Bible study, building relationships, getting to know the visitors. At the end of that series, 10 people joined the church family there, new members in the church, and Pastor Jeff Warda reported today, almost a full year later, that all 10 of those folks are still attending at the church. We're excited about those kind of results. We're excited about what relationships bring to the preaching of the three angels' messages. We're excited to continue to tell people about our loving Savior, Jesus Christ, and about His soon return. This year, as we move forward as a conference family across Iowa and Missouri, I appeal to you to be liberal, to be generous, and to be sacrificial in your evangelism offering today. It is an investment in souls, and I encourage you to make that investment.
We are focusing on major evangelistic efforts in St. Louis. Soon you will hear about other thrusts into Des Moines and Kansas City metro areas as well. Down in southern and central Missouri, Pastor Craig Wiles has had great success presenting his unique preparedness seminars in several of our churches. You have heard these stories, but the half has not been told. The fact is, you can be part of the story as you give generously and get involved in evangelism in your church and community. We're planning new churches among immigrant groups and have already established thriving new Adventist congregations with the Korean and Samoans in Des Moines and Kansas City. But there's still so much to do. We must do more while we can do it. God is calling us to do it now while we still can by His wondrous grace. So, if there ever was a time, it is now. It is time to be fully committed and supportive of the evangelism offering and ministry of the church today.
You will want to place your offering in the envelope provided and mark it evangelism. As you know, the conference has changed the combined drive, part of our stewardship giving plan, to focus entirely on conference youth initiatives. However, to support the evangelism initiatives in our field, you will need to give toward this special offering designated for evangelism only. Please give generously and mark how much you are giving today. You may also make a pledge commitment in order to continue to provide support toward a faith goal each month for the remainder of the year. Some individuals and churches may not be able to give or reach their goals or commitment in the offering today. You can continue to place a monthly gift in the offering and mark it appropriately.
It is really exciting to see what God is doing for our churches and members who have committed to this great work as we go into the harvest together with Jesus. Lives are being changed. People are preparing to meet Jesus. Thank you for being a part of what God is doing across our conference today.